Nice to see y'all today. Just for the introduction, you can look at the camera and then never break the fourth wall again.
I don't think I'm going to even look at the camera for the introduction.
Yeah. It is a little weird for us to be having a conversation and just checking in with a camera every once in a while.
I think so.
Unless we had a live audience. Let's get a live studio audience in here.
That would be good. I mean, I don't know if... no, that might be really bad.
I wish the folks at home could see the background here.
I mean, they're getting a pretty nice taste of it.
I love it.
Let's just start.
Okay, I'm ready. We should get a song or like a little intro ditty.
Okay, did you ever watch Little House on the Prairie?
No. Sorry.
Maybe some of our older clientele will appreciate this. There's this. See, I looked at the camera. I already screwed
That's okay.
it up.
You're allowed to do it.
It was like da na na na
yeah.
na 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 na. That could be like the news anchor stuff.
That's the intro.
Next
Just
week.
go.
Yeah. Next week, do you know what we're gonna do?
Yeah.
We're just gonna put like a little paper sign.
Yeah.
8.5 by 11 piece of paper that says movement strength.
Yes. Oh my God. Every week.
Yeah.
Imagine where we can go from here.
It's only gonna go up.
Unbelievable.
And I mean, we might as well just go because we're on a roll. So this is the very first podcast that I think we're gonna put up on the YouTube world and maybe on like IGTV. So I figure we start at like the bottom, which is like there's nothing done to the studio yet.
Yeah.
And the studio is really just Movement Strength's basement.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
It's stunning down here. The exposed brick behind you.
It's beautiful.
Ooh.
Beautiful. We don't need to talk about what's on the exposed brick because
blood, sweat, and tears, folks.
Pretty well, actually, though.
Yeah.
So this hole here.
Yeah.
I think it might be in the camera, maybe not. I'm afraid our landlord will watch this, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. So this hole here, I always wanted to know what was behind this wall.
Yeah.
So I literally just booted a hole through it. And then the scary part was, so I was like freaked out to put the camera back there and look. Because I'm like, what if like an alien or something, a gremlin comes?
Yeah, a rat.
A rat. That too. I didn't even think of that, but that's more logical.
Yeah.
So I remember putting the camera, just like the light. And then all you see, though, because I just busted a hole through this, is like the dust settling. So it was like the dust settling. And then I'm like, there's going to be a monster. Like it's going to settle, and then there's a monster in my face. Funny enough, the next day, landlord called us, and they're like, hey, if you wanted more space in the basement, we actually went ahead and opened the door for you so you can take a look at what it looks like.
No way.
Really? The next day. If they would have been 24 hours earlier, there wouldn't have been this wonderful hole that now we have to patch up for our actual studio. Well,
I honestly don't think it's that bad because...
No, it's bad.
I think this wall needed work anyway.
You think so?
I don't think you could have gotten away with just going with this anyway.
No?
I
mean, I want to ask people to comment below, but we all know we might get like one comment. But regardless, we'll ask them of what we should actually do in this studio. I have some ideas, but I don't know what to do yet.
Eric Jansen's studio.
Oh, yeah. He's hardcore.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, I should reach out to him.
Yeah.
And chances are Justine might be listening to this.
And Justine was the one who painted the walls.
Okay, so Justine, do you think you can paint this wall? There's a few patches that we got to do, but it should be pretty easy.
It'd be sick if you actually just painted this black like your hoodie and just got movement strength.
Oh, see, I have an idea though. I have like...
Okay, don't ask for my input.
It's more of me. It was like a rhetorical question, me trying to be, nice.
Okay, fair enough.
But there's like these backdrops that you can buy that are like faux wood or faux brick.
Oh, yeah.
I think I might just do some of that. It doesn't need to be super amazing.
No.
Just every week it will look a little bit better.
Yeah.
What we could even do is next week, rather than like finishing the whole thing, it's literally just one panel that's up.
Yeah.
It'll take a full 700 episodes to get the whole podcast done.
Yeah. Rome wasn't built in a day.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was not. Anyways, maybe we should probably actually start talking about what we're talking about.
Let's talk about things.
So I thought it would be a fun idea to talk to someone about their entire journey at Movement Strength. Not just like interviewing them about the past, but more so about the present and the future, touching base with them. So the reason I thought it would be fun to talk with you is this is what I like to call your third season at Movement Strength. First season was at 206 Piccadilly.
Yep.
Second season was here last year during good COVID times. And then now we're in the third season. And every season, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'll let you explain what's going on. But every season, there's always sort of been like a different goal that you've had, whether it be, you know, body composition, weight loss, or just living your best life.
Yeah.
So I think it would be cool for this particular season to check in with you. Maybe it's every week. Maybe it's bi-weekly. What did you say yesterday when we were meeting? I'm like, I don't want to say that we're going to do this every single week. You were like...
I said, if we do it, we'll do it. And if we don't, we'll...
It was something like that.
We'll do it when we do it.
It was good. It was good. Yeah. But quickly, just so people know a little bit about your background, take us through seasons 1 and seasons 2 of Jess's life at Movement Strength.
Okay. Season 1, did we have a title for this? I feel like you came up with one on the phone yesterday.
I don't know. I mean, you can call it whatever you want.
Okay. Let's call season 1... I don't know. Wow, now I'm on the spot. Jeez.
See, and then do you know what sucks now? Is because this is on video. It's not like I could just crop that
we can't
sound.
Cut it. Okay. So season 1 was the challenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Season 2 is the recovery.
Yep.
Season 3 is sustainability.
Like it.
So season 1 came in, got a targeted Facebook ad from this guy. Pew, pew. Pew, pew. It works, folks. And decided I was going to join the gym, do an 18-week challenge, took on a really aggressive goal, dialed in, worked with Jade, phenomenal coach who was here at Movement Strength. Love her. Hit that goal, was super happy. It really changed my life in a lot of ways. But I had to come back from that. So what I learned through that process is that truly to make health and fitness a part of your life, you can do it one of two ways, but it's going to take you years no matter what. Mm-hmm. So you can either do the quick and dirty way, which is what I did, do the 18 weeks, make the massive change, but then you're left with the aftermath of that of, okay, I can't do what I was doing for very long. And now I'm a little bit obsessive about food and exercise and losing my progress and all of that stuff. And so then you end up having to go through the recovery stage, which last year I thought was my sustainability stage, but really it was working through all that stuff, figuring it out. And now I feel like I'm actually in the sustainable lifestyle. This is a part of my life. I trust myself to know what to do, listen to my body, all that stuff. Because otherwise, you can either take years and just start off that way and do a slow burn into it. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I think that the first option that I did is over glorified, and people don't realize that ultimately it will take you years to get to a place where you're good with it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, you and I kind of talked about it last week, where it's like, unfortunately, we live in this world where people almost need to be brought into a space by hearing things that they want rather than hearing things that they need. So what I mean by that is like, that targeted ad that was on Facebook was probably like 6-week challenge, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, that's right, challenge, hardcore, let's do it. 6 weeks. He's going to make me everything I could ever want to be and more. Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, you know, a lot of the times we're trying to bring people in by telling them what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. And then when they're here, we actually tell them what they need to hear. Yeah. And even sometimes it takes longer than just, you know, just that initial meeting. They might actually start at Movement Strength in their first week, their first month, their first few months, going towards this goal like you had. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like they actually need to go through the shit to be able to appreciate, wow, this isn't a sustainable model. Like, Jess wasn't meant to be 16% body fat all year round. Like, I like fries or beer too much to give up. Or I like being warm. Yeah, that's right. You know, there's just so many aspects of it that, you know, it's great to reach goals. It's great to push yourself to see what you are capable of doing. And I really believe that in different seasons of your life, you should go after different areas. You know, there've been times in my professional life where I've grinded 100-hour weeks kind of thing and, you know, gotten close to burnout, but reached the goal and then realized, okay, I need more balance in my life. I need more balance in my career. If it's temporary, I can work through it, but that's not my long-term life play.
Yeah.
I don't want to see my 20s fly by and have nothing really to show for it.
Yeah.
But a bunch of hours in an office. And so that was the same with the gym. It was like, okay, I'm coming into this fitness space. I'm going to dedicate this 18 weeks to reaching this big goal, learn a lot about myself through the process, see what my limits are, push them a little bit, and then I'm going to figure out how to move back to an area where it's more sustainable. But last year in season 2, I thought I was in that space, but I was really struggling.
Yeah.
Really struggling. And
were you struggling? Sorry, were you struggling in the moment, or looking back on it, you're like, wow, I was struggling?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that I knew.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to admit it. That when you go into macro tracking and stuff like that, very powerful tool, great to understand nutrition, how to optimize your body and all of that stuff. But then you know things that you can't unknow. And when you go into a grocery store, you're looking at labels and there's not a lot of freedom, and it's a lot of overthinking. And that, I think, became a bit obsessive for me. And luckily I had a lot of people in my life that were open about disordered eating and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm not an expert in that space, so I don't know where the line draws, where you go from, you know, quote unquote dieting to disordered eating. Yeah. Maybe they're synonymous. Those are debates that people have. But for me, it was definitely a place where I didn't want to be so chained to all those mental pathways that I built in pursuit of a big goal.
Have you ever heard of intuitive eating?
Yeah.
So that's, especially with dietitians, I know that's one of the big things that dietitians will work on with a lot of their clients in, you know, the hospital or more of a clinical setting. But yeah, this whole idea of intuitive eating, which is like you're not necessarily sticking to one way of eating. It's more so you're, you know, in tune with what your body needs. If you feel like you need to go and have a beer, you can go and have a beer. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's the ultimate goal for a lot of people. But I mean, I don't know what the right answer is, but I do feel like sometimes it's okay to discover these different ways, especially if it does bring you to the ultimate goal, which is where I think your headspace is kind of at now.
And that's the thing. So I'm really happy that in these 3 seasons, I got to where I wanted to be naturally, because what happened and why I've realized now that this is the actual sustainability phase is that, okay, season 1, dropped down to 14% body fat.
It was 14. I'm trying to think what it was.
Yeah. Which body fat percentages for everyone at home.
They you broke the fourth wall.
I broke the fourth wall.
Hey, everybody.
I need people to know this, that they look different on different people.
Yeah.
So for me, Danica straight up the other day said, Jess, I know that, you know, you felt good and you were obviously quite shredded and all this stuff, but you looked like a bobblehead.
Yeah.
And I did.
Like a bobblehead?
I looked like a bobblehead.
That's so mean.
It's so mean, but it's so true. I don't think you
looked like a bobblehead.
No, I did. We can show pictures.
I would tell you, I'm pretty blunt and honest.
Trust me, I looked like a bobblehead. And I was cold all the time, and I wasn't enjoying my life. I enjoyed reaching that goal, and again, pushing those limits for a purpose. But then afterwards, pandemic hit, and, you know, fell into some binge eating and all that kind of stuff because of that sense of wanting to lose control, like let that, all of those desires that you have for so long that you cut off, I'm not going to go for a beer tonight, I'm not going to have chocolate, I'm not going to whatever, then it comes to a head, and it's this rush of, oh my gosh, I'm finally letting myself enjoy things, and then a guilt cycle.
Yeah.
And so that was last year for me, was a lot of, okay, it's okay to do these things. It's okay to do these things, but not actually forgiving myself.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate part was the like body fat percentage that I came in here at, I came back at last fall. So to me, it felt like I'd lost all my progress and all of that stuff, but my composition was totally different.
Yeah.
I was working out. My mental health was so much better because of having exercise be a big part of my life. And so that was mean of me to say to me that I'd lost all my progress. And it was funny because my goal last year was where I'm at now. And the reason I feel that this is my sustainability phase is that over the last year of my life, I worked through those uncomfortable feelings. I worked through that. I figured out how to intuitively eat. And now I trust myself again, because that was the root of my issues last year, was that I didn't trust myself to be able to live a healthy lifestyle without having the numbers.
So what is your goal for season 3 then? I know it's sustainability, but like, is it just learning more about nutrition? Like, I know you're working with Brooke now. What does the bulk of those conversations look like or going to look like?
A lot of it, I think, is getting better at the technical part of lifting and all that kind of stuff. So this week was test week for me with all my lifts and aerobic capacity stuff. So I want to hit some big goals there and just see how strong I can get.
Yep.
And then on the nutrition side, I'm using Precision Tracker.
Yep.
So just a better way to kind of gauge
like hand measurements.
And stuff like that, which is funny because it's what I started with and it's what I'm coming back to. But at the same time, I'm in a place in my life now where I know that enjoying my life isn't going to ruin my health and fitness.
Yeah.
You know,
it's funny how like you're talking about precision nutrition, hand measurements, stuff like that. When we created our initial nutrition curriculum, we really used precision as like our framework, because it's amazing. We have Taylor, who's precision nutrition certified, same as Brooke. And you know, our whole thought was, okay, people will spend a few, and this is our program. People can listen to this and be like, oh my God, this is what people pay all this money for. Yes, this is it right here.
Yeah.
You literally start and it's like, here's just a list of foods to stick to. And then you stick to that list of foods. And then you move on to the next phase, which is hand measurements.
Yeah.
And then from hand measurements, you go to macro counting, blah, blah, blah. But the reason we don't even necessarily encourage macro counting for everybody, that's more of like a decision and a conversation that the coach will have with the client to see if it's the right thing. Like if they have a very specific body fat percentage goal, then yeah, maybe we'll talk about that. But we still lay out like the pros and cons of it. But even in the 12-week curriculum, there is a part now where we, like if people are macro counting, we're like, okay, stop macro counting and go back to hand measurements. And it's like people feel tied to it. They're scared, right? Because they don't trust themselves. Yeah. And that's the whole reason that we do it, is like, hey, you guys need to be okay that you're not always going to have your scale in your back pocket.
Yeah.
I remember going to, it was Luke and I, we were at this seminar in Austin, and it was like a fitness type seminar, right? So there's all this like amazing food at the hotel and stuff. And there was people like legit bringing out these mobile scales to weigh their food. And like, they weren't like, you know, bodybuilders that were getting ready to go on stage or anything. So they needed to be in a specific macro state. It was just, that's what they did. I'm like, I mean, if it works, yeah, that's cool. But like, do you really want to live your life that way?
Yeah, exactly. And I remember seeing something on Instagram that was a video where the girl said, when you started macro tracking to be healthy and then you're weighing spinach.
Yeah, exactly.
I lost the point. Like you lost the point there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, macro tracking. And for anybody who's listening who doesn't know a lot about this, macronutrient tracking, you're looking at your carbs, your proteins, your fats, and you're essentially trying to track your input. And if you're doing it for a fat loss or a body composition goal, it's so that your input of food is lower than the
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, then the output.
In a nutshell, right? The idea that people macro count is so we know that they're going into a caloric deficit.
Yeah.
If people want to lose weight or hit a body composition goal, at the end of the day, it's science, and it's just you need to be in a caloric deficit, meaning you're consuming less calories than you're burning in the day, which is why we macro count, so we can get a picture perfect idea of how much you're actually eating. Because there's a few reasons why most diets don't work. The first one is you're way too restrictive, and you kind of touched upon this, right? It's like this vicious cycle.
It is.
Where, you restrict your diet. From restricting your diet, it eventually leads to you binging. And then when you binge, you feel guilty. And then you feel guilty, so you restrict your diet again.
Yeah.
And you're just going in a circle, right?
And that's the thing, is at some point during that big cut that I did, I also did intermittent fasting.
Oh, no, yes.
Yeah, because it makes it easier
to be in a caloric deficit.
And also in the morning, I wasn't that hungry. So at the time, I thought, okay, this is good. But over a longer period of time, I was so hungry, not able to focus in the mornings, and then I wouldn't feel full throughout the day ever.
Yeah.
So I've learned in the past 3 seasons of my life that, some mornings if I'm not hungry or I don't eat till 11, that's fine, but I'm not going to intentionally push my eating because that will lead to me at 11 p.m. still feeling hungry and like I need to snack at night. And
we can bring attention to it.
We can do they can hear it
because they might be able to, because we're in the basement. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
There's probably someone directly over Jess's head doing slam balls. The ball just comes right through.
Yeah, surprise.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, we're gonna go to a commercial break now.
Exactly. So anyway, with intermittent fasting and everything, it definitely, because. And I don't want to put too much blame on it, but because it was also the pandemic, I was at home all the time. And so there wasn't really, a set routine for eating schedules for me when that happened. And so that period of, let's call it what it is, that period of starvation that I had to do to go through that cut, which anybody who does a cut, I'm going to call it what it is. You're starving yourself temporarily.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. And because my body had been in that scarcity mindset for so long, it always wanted more. And it took me so long of nurturing my body and giving it what it wanted and listening to those cues to finally figure out intuitive eating. But I kind of had to go to both sides of the extreme, which is unfortunate. And that's why I say, no matter what, it's going to take you a couple years in this space. You're either going to do it in the extremes and then find the gray zone, or you're going to cruise in the gray zone all the way to a sustainable lifestyle. Yeah. That's the reality.
I love it. So we might as well tell people kind of what our plan is and what that is well, not that plan yet. We'll talk about that one in a second. Okay. That's I don't know if we should even do a quick separate show for that.
We could.
Because if people don't listen to the whole thing.
True.
Anyways, I know Jess is someone that is incredibly hard. See, this is where it's awkward. It's like, do I look at them? Do I look at you?
You should look at the camera. No, I'm going to look at you. You can look at me.
I'm going to talk to you in the third person. I know that you are an extremely hardworking individual, and it's like, if you put your mind to a goal, you're going to reach that goal. That's why I think this will be such a fun little series of conversations that we have. But my whole thought is it would be fun if you and I touch base every week or every few weeks to just talk about your progress in season 3. So season 3 of Jeff's life being sustainability seems like it's actually going to be more fitness focused, which is good. So, next time we talk, we can talk about how movements are feeling. We can talk about how squats are feeling compared to a week ago, or whatever updates that you want to bring us through. So if there's things that you've learned that you want to share with everybody, I just think it would be cool for people to actually see you along your journey in real time, if that makes sense.
Totally. And I think that my goal with this is just to be really real.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people in this space that just sugarcoat it, show their highlight reel, and that's enough.
Yeah.
I'm not going to add to that.
Yeah.
So that's why I came out swinging with, hey, I was binging for a year and it really hurt me. And, I just don't think there's any harm in being authentic.
No.
And I don't care. It's the truth. I would tell that in a conversation. So if you've never met me and you're listening to this podcast, I hope you feel more connected because I will tell you the real deal.
Yeah.
Because I think it's valuable for people to understand that it's not just the glamour and glitz. And I'm definitely guilty of it. My Instagram is a highlight reel. You would not see anything, any evidence of the struggles that I've gone through in these 3 seasons. And this is my chance to bring them up.
Yeah, to air your dirty laundry.
This is the place.
This is the perfect place to do that, actually. Yeah. Okay, cool. I appreciate you being vulnerable and being more vulnerable in the future on this.
Thanks for having
this channel as well. Yeah,
I'm stoked.
Of course. So I think we'll end it here.
Okay.
To start another one. So if you're listening to this, I'm pretty much going to put the other one right after this, because over the next, not only are we going to be talking more often, but I almost think that you're pretty much going to be like my co-host.
I'm stoked. At one point, I do want to interview you.
So I haven't told you this.
Okay.
There is an interview that I've done on here. So thank you for not even really watching our episodes. To be fair, it was like episode like 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah, I know, but I want to ask the questions.
Of course. Yeah. That'll be just so much fun.
Yeah,
for me.
that'll be great.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, once again, thank you for taking time.
Thank you.
For everybody else, smash. Do you want to do it? Because you're going to be the co-host. Do you think you can figure it out?
Like, comment, and smash that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe
so
button.
Uncomfortable.
Amazing. Okay. Thanks, everybody.